Welcome back. I don't even know if I have to introduce our next guest, but I'm still going to. He is the former president of the Royal Dutch Science Academy, and during that time he evolved into something more, simply the PR manager for science as a whole. Unfortunately, he moved to the USA to become the head of the Institute for Advanced Studies in Princeton, and as of yesterday we even know his opinion on Viagra for women. Robbert Dijkgraaf, welcome. Tomorrow is a special day for you. You will receive an honorary degree from the Radboud University. Yes. Were you surprised?
Yeah, very surprised. I still think these are exceptional honors. And I'm particularly touched by the fact it's an honorary degree not only about my scientific achievements but also honoring I would say the art of communicating science. And I think that's not just an honor for me personally, but also for many other people who are engaged with that and feel strongly that we should have public outreach from the academic world.
And when did you hear that you were receiving the degree?
Well, I got a telephone call, and of course totally out of the blue. And I think it's in many ways I feel almost embarrassed by it, but it's a great feeling. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Radboud University celebrates its 90th birthday. Yes. 90 years ago, a professor was somebody of a stature, somebody who was being looked up to, and nowadays we are distrusting professor. How did this happen?
Well, I think actually perhaps the audience and the public at large is looking at us more as we are looking at each other. So, which I think is actually a good thing. I think certainly as scientists we should welcome people being critical, and we should kind of earn our trust. And we are not earning trust by wearing an academic robe and being very impressive or speaking in Latin or using formulas that nobody understands. I think actually we are now living in a society where people have taken over some of the characteristics that we value so much within the academic world. So I feel it's just an extra encouragement to earn our trust, and in some sense an extra argument also to reach out and project the values that we cherish so much.
What can a scientist or what can academics do to earn this trust again?
I think explain what you do. I think actually people are not distrustful of facts or arguments. I think they want to understand why you feel you have a certain opinion. And they want to kind of join you in your own investigations. And I think actually one thing you will have to do is also project your own uncertainty. And it's something that within the academic community, where it's so much about knowledge, we sometimes hesitate to tell what we do not know. But if we're really honest, it's what motivates us. I mean, why do you want to become a researcher? Because there's so much yet to be discovered, so much questions that are still unanswered. And so I always feel that you can, just as it's great fun to talk about all the great achievements in science, it's perhaps even more fun to talk about the great open questions.
Okay, and is there a difference between the Netherlands and the United States in how scientists or how science itself is perceived?
Well, I think in many ways the Netherlands is, I guess, more advanced in the sense that we have less of kind of an automatic feeling of being intimidated or respect for institutions. And I think, which is, again, I see as progress. I think it's a good attitude. I think one thing actually that the great advantage in the Netherlands is that we are still quite a homogeneous society. So in some sense it's much easier to tune your message or to choose your strategy here, because the audience is in many ways very similar. And the United States has a tremendously diverse population with very different thoughts and feelings, so it's much more difficult to basically use one kind of instrument or one voice to address it.
But is there also like an American Robbert Dijkgraaf, a famous American scientist who?
No, actually, it's interesting to see. Well, of course there are many, again, because it's a very big country. But you also see that people in the United States are very much surprised, pleasantly surprised, if they hear what's happening in the Netherlands in terms of science communication, engagement with public, with schools, etc. I feel there's a whole movement. This university is actually a wonderful example of encouraging both students and teachers and professors to go out and go to schools and speak to younger people. And I think actually that's something that people I talk to in America are very surprised that we're doing all this, and they feel very encouraged to do something similar. So in some sense I think we should export our good experiences.
To conclude, we in the Netherlands, we rock. We're the best in communicating science.
Well, I think we have explored some new venues, and I think this is what I feel is perhaps the best thing that you can do. Is if you certainly if you are a researcher, a scientist, take some of that curiosity that you have and project it in another field, whether it's communicating or engaging with the public or doing advice. And I think that's perhaps our future goal, that everybody has a little bit of a scientist in him or her.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, and we will look forward to your TED Talk, which will be at the end of today. Yes. If you have any questions, please tweet them to @CampusInBeeld or #TEDxRadboudU. We'll be right back.